What was the noise like right after your surgery, or now? Is it still the same? What was the noise change difference like for you?
It's like the change. It was there a change? I don't think there was ever a change in the
So you
noise.
didn't have like was the you didn't have more gas. You didn't feel like the ostomy was more noisy than before. Was
Oh,
it quieter in regards to when you had output? Did it make noise? Anything like that?
gotcha. Yeah, so I guess when I got it from the hospital and everything, I know the first time it made noise, it kind of scared me for sure. But but then they were like, "Oh, that's normal," things like that. I was like, "Okay." But I know the noise definitely like was really embarrassing at like at first, you know?
Yeah,
Like like even now, like when I'm in public, if I'm just like in public with friends and things like that and it goes off, I'm just like, "All right, whatever," you know?
yeah,
Um I think but like I guess like on dates, that's definitely embarrassing, you
yeah.
know? A little bit.
So does it sound like a normal fart for you, or what's it sound like when you have gas?
Like a like that
Is it
kind
ever
of.
loud, like real loud?
Um, no, not that, not like that. I don't know, like how loud is real loud?
All right, dude. So let me tell you something. So this is why, like, in a lot of my conversations with people with, and I don't know if this is just all ileostomies, but I'm learning, is that you guys are pretty fortunate in your flow and the noise that you have. Having a colostomy, especially a lower one, uh, it is literally. I was pissed after my surgery. I was so mad because I felt like it was like, you know how your brother could come over to you when he's got a big fart coming and bend over and make it really big. You're sitting there right on the couch behind you, and he walks up and goes, and you're like, oh, and it's
Yeah,
loud.
yeah,
Okay, and he
yeah.
means to make it loud, and he's trying to push it out. Right? You know what I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I felt like every time I had gas coming from my ostomy was, because you can't control it. It just comes out. It sounds like a normal fart.
Mm.
You can't, you don't, if it's coming out fat, you just have no control over it. And so that's why I always have like a little pillow. Like my mom made these pillows that I just keep over. And then like, if I have output and I have diarrhea, Garrett, it's literally like, remember when everything was connected and you had diarrhea? No, you probably don't. But
No,
when
it's the
everything was,
worst.
huh?
It's the worst when you have
Yes,
diarrhea, man. It's just
yes,
like your butthole stings and you're just like,
yes.
ah.
It's so bad. And depending on how bad it is, it can be loud and it sounds gross. You know, we've all seen that scene in Dumb and Dumber, right? When he's on the toilet after
Getting to.
Harry what's his name? Right, gives him gives him that X-Lax. So, but that's what it sounds like when I have diarrhea with a colostomy. It
Oh,
sounds like I'm sitting in a room with you and I just had diarrhea come out of my stoma right in it's you would think you could look down and see it on the ground. That's how
huh.
loud it is.
Wow.
Like
Holy shit.
it literally sounds like I'm sitting on a toilet and you should not have been in here, bro. And then you're sitting there like nothing to see here. I don't.
You're like, oh man,
Yeah.
damn. What? So, do you have any like, uh, so the pillow is like a silencer.
We do need a silencer, man.
Yeah,
What? So stomagenics, get working on that.
yeah.
But in all seriousness, it's like it was. I was so mad, and I've described it like that. Like it is. It has been like someone just walks up to you, pulls their cheeks apart, and rips a fart. And that's what it's like when I have gas and when I have to go to the bathroom. I'm lucky if I'm feeling good and I have normal stools, then I'll be lucky enough to have a pretty quiet output. But I'm like a little kid. Like if you ever seen a little kid who's got to poop and he's just learning to poop or whatever, some kids will go hide in a corner and do it. Like one of my daughters, when every time she had to poop, she'd go over to a corner. There's just something personal and whatever about it. So she'd go over, and I feel like is that with my ostomy. So I'm like, oh, I got to go over to the corner.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Dude,
But can
holy
you
shit's
feel it
right.
coming?
No,
Okay,
I
I
don't
can't
know.
either.
I can't feel it. I only know it's coming a second before it comes out, if then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, same here. My
So like
uh,
dating was brutal. Like I hated going on dates.
yeah, how the freak did you do that? To that's interesting.
Music, loud dates,
Loud.
hibachi grills, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. No shame, baby.
Hell
Like
yeah.
I'd go to concerts, I'd go to movies. Movies would be awesome, but then there's quiet parts in the movies, and you're like, oh, dude, come on
You're
now.
like, come on, come on, come on, let's get through
Yeah,
this.
yeah. But like, and then so another thing is I'm 6'5", so I'm tall, and my forearm is just long enough that where my forearm is, it covers my whole stoma, and so you'll normally see me like I normally sit like with my arm like this. If I don't have a pillow, like if I'm on a date, I usually just have my arm like that on my waist. That way
Oh,
it covers the whole thing. So when and if it comes out, I can basically filter it, if you will. But I've got a friend of mine, we got a couple of really cool little accessories for so like the worst, dude, is meetings. So I hold quiet meetings, estate planning meetings, things like that with uh, businesses and families and things. And when I go in there, I take this with me when I'm sitting down, but I have to stand up and present. And so I'm like pressing my arm so hard. And I've been doing this for years so much that I got a cyst in my
no.
shoulder. Yeah,
Oh,
2 years ago. And it got huge to where they had to take it out. I couldn't even pull. Poor me. I'm sitting here like a little kid trying to quiet my farts and my output, and doing that for 12 years caused a cyst to be formed. And then there's like 4 months where I couldn't even put my arm down. I'm just like I might as well have been 75 and not caring, right? Just farting away, doing my thing wherever I was. And I had to have surgery to get it removed, and everything's fine now. But dude, for real.
god dang.
But I do need something to help filter that noise sometimes. And some people just have, I don't even have a lot of gas. I don't even have a lot. It's just when I do, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I know when mine makes noise, I just joke. I just make a joke.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
luckily,
Yeah.
like I've learned to be like just fall back on humor. So it's more
Yeah.
like that's nice because I have that as like a a defense, I guess, like
Yeah.
mechanism, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
nice, you know. Um, but my flow is like pretty much. I don't think like yours at all because yours sounds like pretty solid. Mine's definitely really liquidy
Yeah.
a lot of times. So mine's always like, and then sometimes I'll have like a little bit of like solids,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it's like really just like liquid. But I don't eat at the same time, you know. So because all my nutrition comes from IV, so that's the difference, you know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I bet, when was the last time you ate like a meal?
Well, like I'll eat and I'll chew. I mean, I won't eat. I'll chew and I'll spit out food, kind of things. And then some will like go down, and and then that stuff will come out as solids,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
But for the most part, like it's more liquid than it is solid, at least. But I don't know if that's just me or most people who have ileostomies. But
Yeah. And so you could move over to something like the gym. So I've done a lot of interviews with people that work out, that have ileostomies, and they have no problem. They're totally cool going to the gym, all this stuff. Dude, when I do core work, you know what happens? My bowels move, right? So
mm,
when I get down on the bench to do some chest and then do some flies, and that's all it takes to get my core worked up enough to where, shoot, if I got headphones on, I can't hear myself. Someone like my brother or a buddy at the gym's going, dude, you're making a bunch of noise from your bag there, man. I'm like, oh shit, I'm jamming to Eminem. Leave me alone. Let me get my reps
yeah,
in.
yeah. Just be like that sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll write
But
a
yeah,
note to it later. I'll have a formal complaint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the gym's always really kind of, it was kind of one of those places where I was just like, you know what, screw it, forget them all. I got to go get my workout in.
Yeah, exactly. Like you gotta do your thing, and then you just can't like, you know, it's like
Where do you
the
work? What do you do? What do you do? Do you do anything for work at all? Or
yeah. So like I teach dance,
okay,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I also do I used to life coach, but now so like I'm teaching dance, and I'm trying to put out like more videos, and I would love to like have a more of a full time doing videos and then transition out of. I still
Yeah,
love dance, but transition out of teaching. You
yeah.
know,
Or
so
somehow
that's
parlay them once you can kind of put more effort or time into the other stuff besides the dance. Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. So that's like my I guess like my goal right now, and
okay.
something I'm definitely working forward toward.
So
But
like
yeah,
me working, yeah, I mean, I've been doing what I do for a long time. And now since I've been doing everything, I mean, most of my clients know that I got health problems. They just don't know what they are, how bad they are. I'll tell them, before my meetings, if they're new, I'll tell them I have an ostomy. Forgive me if there's any noise. And if I just walk out of the room, I'll be right back. So
yeah,
they're all really cool with it, so, but for the most, that helps in regards to like insecurities and fear, but I still have anxiety. It's nothing you ever get really comfortable with, right? It's not like you can just be cool. Maybe I know some people that are, but that's just not me. It's hard for me to just be cool with something that I know is very difficult for people to deal with and
yeah.
accept.
I understand that. I'm definitely working more towards like just being like that's the normal. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
And that's just me. And there's much more about me than this ostomy.
right.
So it doesn't like so this is just a very little part that doesn't matter, or like or badge of honor kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, oh yeah,
And I'm trying to like get more towards that mindset too, as like because as I like go out and hang out with people and go on dates, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I just wanna talk, I wanna have fun, and I wanna
right.
like ignore the things that that would normally make me uncomfortable. So that's what I'm working towards at the moment.
Just getting out of your own head and leaving your house and hanging out with those people is like the best first and only step you need, because we can like kill ourselves and talk ourselves out of leaving the house
Mm-hmm.
so much, and we're justified, we have great excuses and they're valid,
Oh yeah,
um, but leaving the house and going and hanging out with those friends and feeding off of them and getting over it and just making myself is like the best growth you can ever ask for.
yeah. Because I think once you're there, you just forget. You know,
Yeah.
you
Even
forget
if
and
it
you're having
sucks and you
fun.
don't feel good while you're there, it's one of those things that, you know what? So what? You were going to feel like crap sitting at home too. So what the hell?
Yeah, and like you know what I noticed? I noticed like if they are your friends, then they won't give a shit either. They're just happy that you came out to hang out with them. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right. Yep.
so
And they usually, most of them think that we're awesome anyways because of what we're going through, right? It's like when I look at my kids when they're sick, all I think of is, my goodness, what a tough kid, right? And when other people look at us suffering, that's their natural response, right? But we feel like a victim. We feel like a burden on people,
yeah,
whereas that's not how people see us. I very rarely have I gotten that response once people know what's going on in my world, you know?
yeah. No, you totally hit it spot on because I'm thinking that's how people say, and then it's like sometimes you feel like that. Yeah, you are a victim and you're not strong and you think they're having like pity on you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Where whereas like it's not like that at all because you see you don't think that way about other people.
right.
You're just like you're kind of your own critic, you know?
That's right. That's exactly right. And that also leads me to like another little thing that I've learned is that sometimes you just got to let people give. So God made me with a lot of health problems. So I'm a pretty needy person. I feel like I come with a lot of baggage, which
Mm,
in turn makes the people around me incredibly loving and giving. And I've had people tell me that they have a great need to give, and that they're really blessed that I'm in their life and need their help. And so that's another thing, is some people, all of us have a great need to give to other people. And so our suffering is also an outlet for others who have that need to give that are close to us. You know what I mean?
I feel that. Yeah. I've noticed some people say no, talk about their partner as like their relief. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is that what they normally say? I don't know if that was like, I don't know
I
if
don't
that's
know.
like
I
a
don't know
normal
what that
thing
means, but
in the
and I've.
ostomy world. I guess it's just like my backup.
Oh,
My
in
like,
regards to the ostomy, having
yeah,
one.
I guess they go, oh hey, my relief came and it was great from then. She
Yeah, yeah. So I hear what you're saying, and that's exactly right. So, but my wife is no different than, like, I would say my brother back when I was single, and he was the person that I could count on that would come and swoop me up from whatever bullshit I got caught up in, and whatever situation, with zero judgment, and help me through it. Right. So it's that person that we feel comfortable being vulnerable with,
yeah.
like my mom. And my wife is that person now, but yes, she is that relief. And I feel anytime I go anywhere, even if the situation's real crappy, seriously, like literally or not, I feel better with her there, just because I know I've got an advocate, so a support. I know somebody who knows my problems and where and how to get to the solutions, and I'm not going to be a burden on the rest of the people here. I hate bringing new people into my world,
Yeah, no, I understand that too, because it's like you have a lot to tell them,
Right. Yeah.
and it's just like I totally understand that. I For me, I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't mind telling them, for at least for me, because I'm just like, well, this is what it is. Like I think somewhere in me, I know, like I know because I've been through all this stuff that I have a lot of like self, I guess, accolades. I don't know,
Yeah.
self worth
Yeah.
because of it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, like, but I've also grown up with like a lot of medical conditions too.
Yeah.
So that's my normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's exactly right.
The ostomy came senior year, but like I've always had like medical things, and I
Uh-huh.
know at first as a kid it was like definitely like I didn't have any friends, so
Yeah.
so I needed, like, so I felt that I definitely felt that way, like I only wanted to hang out with my family.
Yeah. Have you ever, like, gone on a plane? Have you flown since your ostomy?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you ever had a lot of gas on a plane? Like a lot of
um
output in gas,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
to where you had to, like, excuse yourself or figure out a way to get your bag drained quickly?
Yeah, because you have to go. Yeah, definitely, for sure, without a
Dude,
doubt.
so when was the first, do you remember the first time that happened, or what was it like? Like, I remember my first time, I was just like, oh my goodness, um, I'm not letting the gas out. Cause sometimes I can have gas, like a lot of gas and zero output. And so it could just be blown up like a balloon that needs to be emptied. But
Yeah.
gas stinks, then that's no bueno on a plane. So the first time I was sitting there, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm like sitting here dressed up in a suit on a plane, thinking I'm top shit, drinking a drink. And I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, I got to get to the bathroom. And the bathrooms are tiny. I'm 6'5", man. So it's like,
Drinking a drink. It's the
oh
alcohol,
no.
man. The alcohol is making you go.
Ah, it's killing me. But I had so much anxiety getting on the damn plane, I needed the alcohol to calm my anxiety. It's driving me nuts. You go from one thing to the other. It's like, oh my gosh, I did this to stop from that, and that caused that, and then that caused this. And I'm like, oh no, what a freaking mess.
I know. Oh my god.
What a mess. Holy cow.
That's,
But at the end of the day, man, what do I have to remind myself of, and what do I realize that you realize? And that's that when we own our identity and who we are, and how God made us, and what we have, like, and we aren't in denial of our reality. When we own that and we're allowed to share that with the people in our life, it allows us to forget about the noise. It allows us to get over the insecure part of all of this. If I own it, I'm okay talking about it. It just took me 9 years to share it with anybody, Garrett, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
for 9 years, I was trying to act like I didn't have an ostomy to anybody who didn't know me. And it's like, holy crap, that just built up and built up, you know?
No, yeah, that's a lot to like, that's like no wonder you had a freaking cyst in your arm.
Dude, I know. And that's a sweaty arm too, depending on if it's 100 degrees here in Wichita.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a lot, dude. Like, just trying to think about that feeling. That feeling's, yeah, that's definitely a lot to go through.
I'll tell you, when I was first exposed to all this, when I woke up and I had my first bag change, I was just like, what in the world? Who is going to date me?
Yeah.
Who's going to understand while I'm laying in bed trying to fall asleep that I just have noise? I mean,
yeah, it's so, oh my gosh, yeah, the first time I saw it, I was just like, my life is fucking over. That's what I was thinking.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so, I don't like anybody. I don't like any kids' shit. I don't like my own shit. I'm glad it comes out the back end and goes in a toilet and you hardly have to mess with it. If the toilet overflows and there happen to be a crap in it, everybody runs. Okay. Mm-hmm. When the Roto-Rooter guy shows up, everyone in the neighborhood kind of snickers for a minute, right? Because we all know how gross it is. But now when Roto-Rooter shows up, I know it's not my shit, right?
Oh yeah. Hey man. Yeah, no, I think getting used to like because I did have the same thoughts, like who's gonna date me, how am I gonna do sports, like, well, what the freak is, how's my life gonna turn up, you know? Yeah. And I thought, and I think getting through like the whole, you are not like your bag, you know, you're not your ileostomy, you're not your colostomy.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot like also a lot of people put value in like, and I'm still getting over this too, in like what they do rather than who they are.
Yeah, yeah. You know? Well, that's the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of being successful, when I was younger, I didn't equate it to relationships and growing in virtue.
Yeah, me neither.
That is the foundation of being alive. I related success and growing up in my future in regards to what job I had, what I drove, where I lived, not the materialistic. It wasn't like I would need those things, but that's where I found value. If I acquired those things, that's when I proved value. And it came from doing things to get there. And I didn't think I was special just existing, which is such a screwed up way of thinking.
Yeah.
We realize when we're sick and you get disabled or you're laid up for months that, you know, I have value even though I can do nothing. Like I know it's there. I feel it. I might feel depressed because I can't do anything, but that shows me that inside there's something that desires to get out, right? So it's like, oh my goodness, we all want to be valued, and it has nothing to do with what we can do, but who we are and who we are to each other. That was the lesson that was like, I grew up with 7 siblings and I had all the training from them, but this materialistic culture, this American culture that is very selfish, is very closed-minded, and it loses track on who we are as individuals. Yeah, man, I agree.
Yeah, because I think you sent me that Ice Cube video.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And in his rap, he's going,
nigga, the misses you give what you don't got. You struggle, it don't stop until we drop. Crazy Bone and Ice Cube.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes, you're never gonna achieve your dreams if you keep looking at the TV.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the TV is literally always telling you that you need more stuff. You
Yeah.
know, like you need that car, you need this job, you need that promotion, you need, you know, and like you need to like move up and move up and move up and like and
Yeah.
also like you said the societal culture tells us that what we do is values who we are and
Yeah.
also like but it doesn't account into like there's so many people and everyone goes through different things that that add up to like who they are as a human and like and even everybody can't do like of course nobody can do that cookie cutter
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like maybe like a, a I don't know the population, but probably like a good percentage can do that cookie cutter life. You know, they strive for it, but
Uh-huh.
like a lot of people don't. I don't feel like they live that white picket fence type of
Uh-huh.
avenue. You know, does
Right.
that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And there's a joy, like there's a lot of joy to be had just in our normal life. Like my life hasn't always been the way that it is. I mean, I've got you and I have our own problems, right? You can't look around and see if and what we have and go, oh, and make some sort of judgment. Everybody's problems are different. But at the same time, when we're so programmed to wake up and do something, and when you're a sick person and your ability to do is limited, where you have to start getting creative because you can't. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't have a job where I got to be there 40 hours a week and I show up at this time and I leave at this time and somebody's on my ass all day. I couldn't do it.
No, I feel the same way because I think I'm getting used to now realizing that like, hey, you don't have to like grind like 40, 50 hours a week like Gary Vee tells you to
Yeah,
or to be successful. You know what I
exactly
mean?
right. Yep, yep.
And and like I was like how is anyone going to expect you to do that? And when the person in like that self-help motivation tells you to do that, that's a special type of person and that's
Yeah,
maybe for him, but
yeah.
it's definitely not that what that talk was not built for you. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that
I
makes sense.
saw a really interesting like doc on this kid who doesn't have any arms or legs, and he's in a wheelchair and everything, but he's got a fully functional brain. You know, everything's fine with him, but it's also like, how are we supposed to expect him, to do to like work a 40-hour thing, like to do things like his I guess his family's just happy that he's enjoying life,
Yeah.
you
Oh
know?
yeah.
So like I think that's like a big deal too to like uh to realize that like it's not about the things and
Yeah.
it's more about like your experiences with the people you love,
Oh
you know?
yeah. I mean, being in the financial world, I know so many great families, but I know a whole bunch of people who have lots of wealth and resources who are miserable, and things are just as hard for them as it is for people who don't have it and are struggling. And the reason I use those two examples is because we can think we need to be doing something and earning something and making a life, when at the same time, if we just slow down and grow in our relationships and who we are as people, the rest of it's going to work itself out. If we can find joy in the normal day to day and not the, if I do this, I'll be there, or once this happens, this will happen. We've got to be able to find joy today, which is in regards to like having an ostomy, dude. Once I started thinking like that and getting over the poor me BS, which I can fall into any day, right? It
Oh
shows
yeah,
up.
for
It can
sure.
just come knocking on my door anytime. But for the most part, it doesn't hang around like it used to. It can, but I got people in my world that show up and help me get out of it. And I got real good what do you call it? Redundancy systems, like backup systems, people that kind of break into my world and things, habits that I have that don't allow me to stay in that spot. But it is really easy to kind of get caught up in this poor me place
And
when it's a big mindset thing. It's got to be a choice, and it's not easy. You got to choose to get over it. Like I think all the time, like when I started smoking cigarettes back when I was a kid, smoking cigarettes, it feels terrible. It's gross, dude. There's nothing cool about it. When you've never done it, it feels terrible. You want to choke, but what do? We make ourselves do it. We make ourselves suffer, right? And then we get addicted. And I've suffered a lot in relationships, doing tons of things. I don't know, pick 100 things. I've suffered a lot doing things that weren't good for me. So why not suffer a little bit doing things that are good for me? Like making a choice to leave my house, even though I don't feel like it. Like, you know, when I'd make a choice to stay out past curfew, that was my choice. I'd make that. Now I'm going to make choices that benefit me, and I'm going to choose my suffering, right? And so
like
it's a much better way of dealing with this when you're able to see it and go, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to own this, and this is suffering I can kind of control, and start creating a world that enables that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think it's just like a good point to like also just like realize that you're running your own life and you're also running your own marathon, which is like no one else is running your marathon. So don't get caught up comparing yourself to the people without the ostomy, because they don't know, and then it's none of their business and it's none of your business either.
Yeah. Like in your world, you have people in your life that no one else is going to be able to get to. You've got problems in your world that you were picked to solve, to see, to point out to people. And the less you look at your life and your reality and you're reclusing inward, or you're in that poor me space, the less you see the world's need for you to open your eyes and help just in the little spaces around you. Even in me just being at home, even as a kid when I was sick all the time, I mean, my siblings will tell you, they loved just my personality coming into, I'm just like a little brother. I was always like that to them. I looked up to them, but it was a piece of energy they didn't have. And I was always there. And I had a role, and that was valuable to them. And so in a lot of ways, if we can just start seeing ourselves that way, man, the noise is nothing, right? When you, like with me, like with all my noise in regards to my ostomy, I've never once had a situation where it was like so embarrassing I broke down or something. Like it's never happened. I was always my own worst enemy with it. So
yeah, no, I can relate 100%.
Dude, what do you got going on the rest of the day?
I have I finished editing this video. I'm doing a how I travel medically kind of video where I take them on my first trip to Cali. I went to Cali for the first time last year, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I talk about lugging around 5 carry-ons full of IV bags.
Yeah.
And getting pat down, and just like the supplies I bring, and just like my experience traveling in Cali.
I'm convinced that an RV is like my way of traveling from now on. Like,
oh yeah,
I want to, because then I could just put all my crap in there. I have my own bathroom the whole time. I can get to places super slow, just cruise. I could take a break and pull over and sleep if I need to. I'm leaning more toward maybe I should get an RV. Maybe we should think about doing that, because I hate flying. I can't imagine what it was like taking all that crap with you.
I was lucky because my siblings went with me. So
okay, yeah. So they were very helpful.
2 extra people to like help with the carry-ons and all the bags, and and just like all that stuff. So it made the trip really easy for me, and it was nice. And then it was fun. I love flying.
How was TSA? Did they give you any crap going through TSA with your ostomy?
All the time. I always get pat down. I always like I never not get pat down. I think that's like a thing, you know.
I hate
Um,
that's one thing I hate is I get pat down every time.
yeah, and well, why do you get pat down?
All right, so a couple reasons. So I still have abscesses and fistulas and stuff that come on my backside. So I've always got a wound back there, a dressing, like a
Hmm.
gauze in my crack that's taped in there. So it always looks like I got something shoved up my butt, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, and then my ostomy. So depending on that,
You're
and
gonna have to do a
then
cavity search.
for some reason, yes, I've had so many. I've been put in back rooms, and I've
Oh
had
no.
I've had the feds called before because like different Hollister bottles would set off the bomb sensors, and
Oh no.
so I would get all kinds of flack and crap. I mean, several times I've missed flights because of it. But when I go through the little scanner thing, it's always just my office, even if the thing is empty, and even if I tell them they're so unknown to all of this. That's another thing that I want to do too. Is I would love to be able to present like to the TSA and be able to have them get a protocol list for people with ostomies as to how to treat this situation, because it
Yeah.
is so awkward, dude. I've had so many awkward situations with TSA people, and they don't need to know everything about everybody and every illness, but this is a prosthetic. It's external. Puts up a red flag. So I think it's something that they need to be seriously trained on.
You know what? You can actually call TSA and tell them. Have you ever done that?
No.
And then they'll greet you with a helper who comes and helps you and gets you through the line faster. We've done that like once or twice, and it has been like, uh,
Really?
oh yeah, definitely. So I think that'll help. That could help you out, you know, because they'll be like, yeah, these are the things, da da da. Like
Yeah.
don't like they called ahead of time, you know. So
I
it
put
gets you.
call TSA before next flight. Make a note.
Yeah, there's definitely like a TSA medical, or something like that, and it's definitely like helpful. At least it gets everybody on the same page, so they don't really like. So it makes it a little easier, you know.
Yeah. Like I'm sitting there. I got all these weird things and scissors and different sharp deals and chemicals and powders and things
Yeah,
and I'm
just
setting off
like
these bomb
what?
alarms
Yeah,
and
and they're like taking the swabs and they're putting it under the thing and they're waiting for it to go off.
no, I don't want to blow up the airport. I have no interest in taking over this plane.
And they're like that's what everybody says.
That's right. I'm like, hey man, I'm 6'5". If anybody's gonna stop a terrorist hijacker, it's this guy. So let me on the plane. Dude, well, Garrett, I appreciate you coming on today, man. This is really cool. I think we've kind of tackled a couple things that are really neat, and I hope I'm going to reach out to Stomagenics, and we can start out trying to give a little review on all these things. I think that'd be dope, and we could kind of start putting together some of our notes and things. And I don't know, I think we could do some cool stuff. That'd be real cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be dope.
Mm-hmm. Well, you get back to your day and your editing, and I'm going to try and take the rest of my day. I told you I'm done. I'm going to go jump in my pool, put on my swimsuit, and enjoy it.
Good for you.
I'm already really tan,
You are tan. You're more
but
tan than-
I'm going to go get some more sun. You got to see my girls. They're out there every day, twice a day. They look like little Hispanics. They're so
That's
cute.
awesome.
I love it. All right, brother. Well, it was good to talk to you, man. Don't be a stranger. You know where to find me.
Hey, same. And
All right.
yeah, I'll put together the YouTube, and then you do the thing, and then I'll get that started.
Everybody needs to like and subscribe and follow. If you're not, do it and share this with somebody, because nobody's talking about this stuff. I say it all the time, and sharing this and giving these resources to people is the one thing that, even if you hear a couple minutes of it, it helps those who are dealing with this crap, just realizing we're not alone. So I know Garrett would agree with that.
Yeah, share it, guys, especially with someone you love.